Germany was divided into occupation zones, controlled by the United States, Britain, France, and the Soviet Union. At the Potsdam Conference, the Allies agreed on core principles for Germany's future: demilitarization, denazification, and democratization. This wasn't just about new laws. It was about reshaping political culture itself. Re-education became central. Germans were confronted with the crimes committed in their name. Citizens near former concentration camps were forced to visit them. Cinemas showed graphic documentary films depicting mass graves and starvation victims. Schools, media, and cultural institutions were rebuilt under strict supervision. Newspapers were licensed. Radio stations were reorganized. The goal was not obedience, but critical thinking, something the dictatorship had systematically destroyed. Many Germans resented this process. They wanted normal life back, not lectures about guilt. But the Allies insisted that avoiding the past was precisely how dictatorship had been possible in the first place. The Nuremberg Trials became the most visible symbol of accountability. Leading Nazi figures were placed on trial before the world. These proceedings documented the full scope of Nazi crimes in meticulous detail. Evidence, testimony, and film footage left little room for denial. At first, public support in Germany was really quite strong. But, that support started to fade as the trials expanded beyond just the top leadership. When judges, doctors, lawyers, diplomats and industrialists began facing prosecution, the uncomfortable question emerged: just how far did responsibility extend? Many Germans began to see the trials as excessive or as, victor's justice, especially since Allied war crimes were not addressed. Still, Nuremberg laid a foundation. It established that crimes committed by a state do not absolve individuals of responsibility, a principle that, honestly, would shape international law for decades to come. Denazification aimed to remove former Nazis from positions of power. In theory, it was sweeping, but in practice, it was really quite uneven. In the Western zones, millions filled out detailed questionnaires assessing their involvement with the regime. Most were ultimately classified as minor followers or exonerated. Administrative necessity and Cold War tensions soon pushed denazification aside. Former party members quietly returned to government offices, courts and ministries. In the Soviet zone, the approach was, noticeably harsher. Entire elite structures were dismantled. Judges, administrators and police were removed en masse. But, they were often replaced by politically loyal individuals with little training. The result was not democracy, but rather a new authoritarian system under socialist control. By the late 1940s, Germany was divided into two states. In the east, a communist regime aligned with Moscow emerged. Reparations, dismantled industry and centralized control really slowed recovery. Political dissent was suppressed, even as the state claimed to be anti-fascist. In the West, economic recovery accelerated with international aid, including the Marshall Plan. But, prosperity alone did not create democracy. Independent courts, a free press, constitutional protections, and an active civil society mattered more. Over time, public debate about Nazi crimes deepened. Responsibility was no longer limited to a few leaders, but recognized as a broader societal failure. Germany did not become a stable democracy in 1945 or even in 1949. It took decades. It took generational change. It took painful debates, public reckoning, and, well, constant institutional defense. Even today, confronting the past remains unfinished. The lesson is clear. Dictatorships do not end when a leader dies. Democracies do not survive without effort. Memory matters, accountability matters, and forgetting is never neutral. It is dangerous. If you found this breakdown valuable, make sure you subscribe for more long-form history and documentary content. Share this video with others who care about the past and its lessons, and, leave a comment with your perspective. Democracy, like history, only survives when people engage with it.